Alright, so welcome to the Ambassador Pod. My name is Prince, and in this episode, we're talking about the fact that life is a race. Now, Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 tells us that, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off every weight that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us. This is the first thing I want you to take note of. Every race, whether 1,000 meters, 1,500, a marathon, 100 meters, or 200 meters, there is some level of objectivity to it. So, in a world of relativism, uh, or people propounding the idea of relativism in a lot of things, including morality, life, and all of that, purpose and assignments and whatever, right? All those things. In a normal race, there's objectivity. What do I mean by that? The first thing is that the distance of the race is predetermined. The magnitude, right, that a person is going to run for a particular race is determined. And that's how the races are named, right? So 1,500 meters means that they are going to run for 1,500 meters. 100 meters means that there is a 100-meter magnitude that you're supposed to run between. That's the first thing. Now, the second thing is that there are rules of how the race should go. So you cannot run before the gun sounds. They have to shoot the gun before you move. Now, you must also run in your lane for 100 meters, for example. And you cannot trip another athlete or you'll be disqualified. And finally, for a person to win the race, you have to cross the finish line. So even if you want to actually even finish the race in the first place, you have to cross the finishing line, right? So these things, right, must have come from somewhere. Somebody must have predetermined these things, the rules of the race, what race it is, the distance of the race, right? Now, and I believe, the people who invented these races are the ones that predetermined these things. That is what makes me believe that there must have been a progenitor of the race called life. Right? Somebody must have created life. That race must have invented it. And the Bible lets us know that it's God. He's the source of life. He is life, as a matter of fact. Right? And there are protocols or rules to running the race of life. You must have a purpose. Right? You have a purpose to fulfill. There's a time frame for fulfilling that purpose. You must be born again so that you can first identify that divine purpose, and then the next thing is to walk in that purpose, right? Now, the final thing is that you can only finish the race by crossing the line for the Olympic case. Now, in our case, for life, you must finish your assignment and only after that be called home if Jesus tarries, right? That's why I call it transitional death. I'm actually writing a book by the grace of God on why the devil cannot repent, right? And I'll do a whole video on that book because it took me a while to even write that book because I was even afraid to write the book in the first place. Anyway, so there's a level of objectivity to a normal race, Olympic race, 100 meters, 200 meters, 1,500 meters. In life, there are protocols. There are rules surrounding the race. There's somebody who created the race, God. There are rules to run the race. And then you can only finish the race when you cross the line. So crossing the line, finishing your assignment. Now the next thing is that any person can run any race, whether you are fit or not. The 100 meters is there. Just go and run on it. Any kind of person can run the race. However, if you want to run the race well, now what do I mean by running the race well? By well, I mean how the inventor qualifies running a good race is, right? And to an extent, to you, the athlete, determine how well you run the race. So you must be fit. You must have a goal for the race, perhaps to break your personal best, your meeting record, or a world record, right? And you must be disciplined to prepare adequately for the race and execute, right? It's something I believe Usain Bolt did. That's why he has a world record in 100 meters, which he broke later on to set another world record. So as a Christian, running the race well involves finishing your assignment completely and with the right attitude. So to be fit, to be an athlete that is physically, mentally, emotionally, everywhere soundly prepared for a race. That's what I mean by being fit. You must build your personal relationship with God. You must understand your assignment and you must determine how to execute that assignment systematically. Why? Because God does not reveal everything about our lives immediately. So the little reveals to us what can we do to sustain what he has done, so that when he reveals another portion of our purpose to us, they can tie in smoothly, right? So maybe right now he says, okay, I need you to pray at this time. Fine, I'll pray. But how can I sustain this prayer life or this life of prayer, if another season comes in and there's more pressure? How do I factor those things? So that is what I'm talking about. Develop discipline, perseverance, and any other traits that you perceive you may need, or that through your study of the word you have discovered is a requirement for the race called life. Finally, every person has their own race to run, right? And just like any normal race in human existence, I think I've highlighted this already earlier, there are rules for running your race. Now, fortunately or unfortunately, in your race, you are the only athlete in the race. So you're not competing against anybody. You are essentially competing against yourself. And that is good, because it gives you no reason to envy anybody. Because, my race is only me. It's only me. So your attitude, your disposition, everything about you changes the moment you have that understanding that I'm the only person running my race. My assignment is not the same as somebody else's. So if somebody is doing their own and they are giving glory to them for what they are doing, why don't I also do my own and also get my own honor? Right? So there's no need to envy anybody. So understanding that you have the race, is only you running in that race. You are the only athlete running in that race. So you're running against yourself. It gives you focus. Having these things in mind, it changes our whole outlook on life and how we live our life. Because first of all, if you realize that, okay, there's a level of objectivity to the race. So I cannot be subjective about my purpose. I can't say, okay, I think I will do this, or I think that this is what I want to do. No, somebody made the race. The person determines the rules. The person determines how the race should be run. And if the person has determined my race for me, why don't I ask the person, what do you want me to do? How do you want me to run this race? And work according to that pattern, because there's objectivity to any race. So with that, are you ready to run your race? This has been the Ambassador Pod. My name is Prince, and I'll see you in the next video.
Escúchame.